Welcome, gathered friends, to the Legends of Chima Retrospective. I'm your host, Paleozoic Bricks, and today we're looking at set 70002, Lennox Lion Attack. It was released in the winter wave of January 2013, and it came with 230 pieces, and retailed for $24.99. The battle for the power of Chi continues in this set, as we see the first of many Lion sets to come. In this set, we get two minifigures. The first minifig we are going to be taking a look at is the titular Lennox. Of all the Year 1 Lions, he's the most generic, but in a good way. He feels like a proud soldier, exactly what the Lion tribe needed to feel like the important tribe of the year. Krug is a standout member of the Croc tribe. With his brown, leathery skin and his metal jaw, he gives a great impression. He's oozing with personality. He stands out among the other Croc tribe members released in the first year. Krug comes with the Slugga. It was forged by Cranville, a highly respected blacksmith of the Crocodile tribe. The dark metals used to craft this mighty blaster have a magnetic quality. It allows the weapon to be rebuilt and customized. Krug has a particular fondness of this weapon due to the shape reminding him of his favorite snack. I feel it's time we get into one of the most interesting aspects of Chima, which is its weapons. While there are single molded weapons created before and for this theme, most are built out of regular bricks. The Slugga is not a complex weapon, at least by Chima standards. We'll see a ton more weapons grow in complexity. The first year of 2013 stuck to much more simple weapons, but as the theme progresses we'll see them become more and more complex. To go against the Claw Ripper, the Lions bring out their own vehicle, the Lion Attack, ready to pounce into action against anyone who threatens the balance of nature. In general, the Lion vehicles are the most spindly of the main 6 tribes of Chima. They're mostly based on dune buggy-like vehicles. You can see it mostly with the suspension. The Lion Attack can feel a bit rickety looking at it. It's a smaller automotive meant for traveling the rough yet beautiful landscapes of Chima, even if this is a tank meant for the harsh combat of war. The suspension is at least a bit more useful than the insectoid's planetary prowler. I can't even fathom the point of it. Overall, it is most likely my favorite aspect of the set, and it's one of the strong points of rolling it around. It makes for a fun time. On the side of the wheels there are claws that can be powered up by Chi. I'm not exactly sure why claws need to be powered up in the first place. Can't the claws ram or sideswipe other tanks already? But at least the tubes fill out the shape of the Lion Attack. The front of the buggy has the head of a lion. The most striking feature of it and the lions at large is its use of bright orange, or as most Bionicle fans know it as, Keyed Orange, for its famous use on the character Kitango. It's one of the best decisions that the designers made with the color scheme of the lions. It's a good distinction from the actual lion minifigures, which use the tan color. LEGO has finally used the yellow principle. Like how in Transformers, in almost every incarnation there is a young character who is yellow, like Cheetor or Hotshot. It's also strange how long it took LEGO to add in a yellow ninja to the team as a permanent member. The head itself has a good shape to it. Of all the Lion vehicles, it probably has one of the weaker head builds. My issue with it is really behind the head itself. So Lennox has a bit of trouble seeing over the huge mane, and that's one of the biggest flaws of this set. To the point where I could understand people saying that the Lions have the weakest of the sets. Most of the other Lion sets have the driver sitting closer to the head, almost inside the mane. This can feel a bit awkward and not as practical as it should be. But where it loses practicality, it makes it up in a very strong silhouette, to the point where I forget the last complaint I had, because it just feels so natural. There is the possibility this thing has cameras like a Gundam to see the battlefield. Otherwise, it's just a strange construction that both works and doesn't work. I don't even know how that is. This is the first Chima set we're looking at with a true flick-fire missile. Rascal's glider technically had one, but the way that gimmick was built, plus its intended purpose, leads me to say that it's not a true flick-fire missile. That set had a secondary device to push the missile out, and the gimmick wasn't offensive weaponry, but a dropping chain. My issue with it wasn't that it used a flick-fire missile, just that I was confused on what launching the chain even did. For those who don't remember or don't know, flick-fire missiles were created by the devil himself to inflict pain upon many children. They were projectile launchers that used a pin and bar at the end of it. They were too stiff, thus resulting in the missiles barely going a centimeter past the technic hole itself. On top of that, the bar is really small, and the place where someone needs to push it out hurts your fingers. Oh, because that's right, the intended way of flicking them out doesn't work! They were the bane of many kids growing up. Nobody liked these, they never worked as advertised, they were usually an eyesore on most sets that had them, and to top it off, they were on almost every set it felt like. Now, if you had the Technic competition launcher, you were cool. That was the favorite on the playground. Those actually shot something that went far. I love the cannons on the side. It uses part 40244, just like classical Exoforce sets. They really have that striking imagery of a laser cannon or a railgun. When it comes to gimmicks, this set has one of the worst in the line by far. But there is a silver lining to it. The buggy shoots discs out of the lion's mouth. Issue is, it barely functions. The discs go flying anyway but straight, causing it to miss the target entirely. The way this function works is that on the back of the lion's head you load the chamber with 2x2 round tiles, then pull on the back by where the rubber band is, then launch. So that was underwhelming. Going back and watching the designer video, you can see the discs go anywhere but close to Krug. But at least the shots before had the discs go semi-straight. And yet, I find myself not hating it on a historical level, because I believe this launcher is, as much of a failure as it was, a large lead for the development of a great disc launcher that would see release 2 years later. Chima was in a transitional period for projectile launchers, where flick-fire missiles were being phased out, but we still wouldn't see the release of spring shooters for another year. We'll see a lot of creative ways LEGO tries to avoid inflicting pain upon the shooter with the builds coming up in the future sets that use flick-fire missiles, but there will always be outliers to the trends. From 2014 to 2015, we would see the projectile revolution with spring shooters, stud shooters, 6-barreled rapid shooters, disc shooters, and the list is still being built upon today. It's neat to see how LEGO has finally hit the engineering level of a Transformer from 2002. Unlike a Transformer from Armada, while the gimmick this set was built around fails, it will always be great to play and display, because it's just a buggy and not a brick of a Transformer. And that's why this set is better than the original Hotshot. Lennox Lion Attack is one of the last sets of an era. Many of its techniques would be phased out by 2016 and replaced with superior parts for the job. While it's a flawed set, I find myself not wanting to bash it, at least from just a historical and evolutionary standpoint. Sometimes you need to look at something not for what it is, but the impact it left behind for future innovations. I'm Paleozoic Bricks, and unleash the power.